All right, first time doing live here. Sorry, it's a little awkward to start, but yeah, got a camera stand so I can go live. Editing's been a challenge, and I fish all the time. Got tons of content on my hard drives. I'm working on new, fully edited stuff all the time. Hopefully I'll get that up and running again soon, but in the meantime, I'm gonna do a lot of these live type things. You can see exactly what I'm doing. We're going for sheephead and giant black drum today. I have a ton of bait. We have blue crabs, sand fleas, and lots of shrimp, but I want to try to get some fiddler crabs and mud crabs while the tide is low. Basically lifting up these oysters. Sometimes you can find the mud crabs. Whenever you lift these up, see, there's a tiny one, too little. You want to find big ones though. Looking for bigger crabs, and I wear these gloves for a reason, so I don't get bit. But whenever you move this stuff, try to put it back so it still provides the cover that it did for them. Don't just take it up and mess up the environment for these things. Try to keep it the way it was the best you can. Keep walking. I'm also looking at those fiddler crabs. We find them, they're gonna be in like hundreds, if not thousands. It's really cool. Hoping we'll see them here. Mud crabs seem to work better the hardier they don't get bitten up by little tiny junk fish as quickly as the fiddler crabs, but we'll see. We just got to find the right setup here. Let's walk this beach and see what we can find. I'm not going to spend a ton of time looking for bait because I have a lot, but I do like to have a variety of different baits. When I get out there, kayak's just chilling there. We're going to walk this beach just a little bit. Low tide is the best time. We ought to be able to get sea urchins by the bridge too, which is another good option. Look at these clams. I've got to look into it. I do not know the laws here in North Carolina on this, but that looks like an awesome clam chowder clam. I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into that. Remember living in Rhode Island, going for clams like that, little necks, razor shells. It was really good. Oh yeah, look at that. All kinds of crabs. Not what I'm looking for though. Oh geez, look at this one here. Can't use him. Gosh, look at that thing. That thing will mess you up. Put the claws on that. That's not what we're after. Pretty cool, though. Sometimes some fiddler crabs can be up here. There's one right there. Good one, too. Decent fiddler crab. Yeah, fiddler crabs are probably, once I find them, like I said, there's going to be a bunch. You'll just see them. Oh yeah, starting to find more. Chances are the further up I go, you're gonna start seeing them. Oh yeah. Now I just want to find the bigger ones to see what's underneath this. Anytime I see something like this, you can count on somebody being underneath that. There is, but not what we want. Always worth a shot after those mud crabs. The mud crabs usually in the water more. See, there's more of a concentration of them down this way. There's a good one. I'm going to go for that. A couple big ones here. Yep. They're all over. It's a decent one. I like the ones with the big claws. I think they work better at attracting sheephead. Now these crabs here, fiddler crabs, these are sheephead bait. The blue crabs I have are going to be for our black drum fishing. So I'm after both, but I do want to target trying to catch one of those great big giants. This is a time of year in the fall, spring and fall here in Morehead City. Around these bridges, you have the potential of catching a 60 to a 90 pound black drum. So I've got big gear set up, 100-pound braid, 100-pound mono leaders. You'll see this whole setup. So same thing I used to catch sharks with. You need it because there's a lot of bridges. I mean, we're fishing by bridges that have a lot of stuff on them that can they can cut you off on really easy. Lots of crabs, but not seeing what I'm looking for here. If this was in the water a little more, we'd probably find some mud crabs. Let's see if we can go down by the water and find some mud crabs. Fiddlers are great, but those mud crabs are where it's at. Let's see what we can find here. Cool thing is there's just fiddler crabs everywhere. Anywhere you have a marsh, look at them up here. Look at the fiddler crabs. Look at them go. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. See them all like in a big group right there? Look at that. That's what I'm talking about right there. Just grab a handful, and they're big too. Those are big ones. Got a claw on that. Let's just stock up what we have. The chance on some big ones. Awesome. Yep. Grab them by the handfuls. Yep. At least 2 at a time. Got those big ones. Sorry if this is live action. Real life fishing preparation. But part of the success of a good day on the water is good preparation, having the right bait, having the right gear, having the right line. So when we get out there, we're gonna have everything we need for bait for sure. I'm liking the size of these. I'm a big believer in size matters with your bait, like really does. Those bigger fish are gonna go after the bigger crabs. And they'll stay on your hook better too. Awesome. Yep, good one there. There's a good one with claw. They were all big, but there's only one with a big claw. Gotta be a little bit choosy here. Look at this guy. Look at that guy. No, these are like $4 to $7, $8 a dozen if you get them at a bait store. That said, it's definitely worth doing it yourself. It's fun too, especially if you're doing this with kids. Just make sure they have gloves. I mean, these things can't pierce your skin. I've only had one pierce my skin once, but I've gotten bit by these things all the time. It hurts. It's like getting bit by a lizard or something. It's not going to kill you, but it might scare a kid especially. Oh, the conch. Oh, not a conch. That is a hermit crab in there. It's pretty cool. This is the area here where we might be able to find mud crab. Lifting up some of that stuff right there. Let's see if we can get any of that up at all. Definitely going to be what I'm looking for under these, as long as they're not too crazy heavy. Oh yeah. Let's see. I'm shocked that there's not a mud crab under that. Then they do seem to really like oysters. Oh, look at that dead horseshoe crab. Yeah, he's dead. Oh, look at those little shrimp. Look at those tiny little red shrimp. Those are cool. I've not seen it before. Little tiny red shrimp. That was really neat. See, I've been doing this my whole life. I'm still seeing things for the first time. I don't remember ever seeing something like that. More clams. Still haven't found any mud crabs. Just not seeing the oysters that I want. Like usually it's like stuff like this. I lift those up and the mud crabs would be under there. Like I said, when you're lifting these things up, just try to put them back when you're done. But if I can find big clusters like that, that's where I've always found mud crabs. I'm just not seeing them in this spot the way that I'm hoping to. Yeah, we might just have to go back and grab a couple handfuls more of those fiddler crabs and keep after it. We want to make an effort for our bait, but when we got the bait that we do, we'll split the time into fishing. The other big problem for sure is Saturday, and there is a lot of boats. I mean, it's the boat ramp was totally full, and I'm seeing lots of people fishing out there. So normally I like to jump around and look for the fish, but today where we have so much, I have a bunch of frozen blue crabs I'm going to use to chum up the water and get them to come to me. But I want to get away from people a little bit and just find that ideal spot where the fish are going to smell that come up out of the pilings and increase our odds of getting the yak and go set up here. Okay. Still plenty of big fiddlers here. Let's see. That's a good one there. And you wouldn't believe how fast you can go through these, by the way. You go out with on a good day and you get 3-4 dozen, they will not last very long. But we also have shrimp too. But everything eats the heck out of shrimp. Fiddler crabs last longer than shrimp, but these fiddler crabs still get eaten up pretty quick. There's a mud crab, finally. Not a very big one, but it's a mud crab. Man, look at them all. Lots of them here. Just not. There's a big one. Really trying to be picky and grab the bigger ones. Look at them all. Almost. Seriously, there's just so many places anywhere along the marshes you're gonna find fiddler crabs like this. There's so many of these things. So many. Whoa. Still striking out on the mud crab. Oh well. Let's get a couple more fiddlers. And we'll get moving. This is where I was seeing the bigger ones. Now that I've scared them all to their hiding spots. I can't remember if I lifted this one up or not. Maybe not. Make that more hiding spot. There we go. Guarantee there's stuff up in there. All right. Let's get out there and do some fishing. Just gonna walk to the yak and get out there. I didn't get a ton of fiddlers, but at least we have some. And I will get some sea urchins too. So right here, just on that bridge from Morehead City over Video Island by the port, called the port wall over there, super deep. It's one of those cool spots you could get anything. Whales come up in here sometimes. Of course, when you got this many boats, I doubt any whales will be up here. But regardless, there's all kinds of opportunities here. Big trout, big black drum, red drum, sharks come up in here. Of course, tons of sheephead. Just about anything. Sometimes Spanish mackerel and kings come up in here. Cobia. Just a cool spot. So going out there with a kayak, that's interesting. For that many boats. Hopefully it'll slow down a little bit more this evening. Let me get everything situated here and get this camera set up. getting out of the shallows here so I can put my pedal drive down. It's a good thing I've got good balance. I throw my cast net out of this thing. This Hobie is incredible. So stable. Such an incredibly stable kayak. Okay. Pedal drive down with the turbo fins. The rudder down. Okay. Now we're just gonna head to the spot here. The area we'll be fishing is between 16 and 30 feet of water. Lots and lots and lots of structure. So you can get, I like using light rods and reels for a lot of my fishing. It's more fun. I'm good at playing fish. I've done this my whole life. And I do flirt with a pretty small setup for my sheephead fishing. It's not too small, but it can be problematic. I would suggest a lot of times that you use heavier gear just because you can get cut off here. And for the black drum, because we are targeting giants. Last year I lost a big one. Let me show you what we're using this year. They don't even sell these Penn Circuses anymore, but it's a great reel. I've got a lot of big stuff with it. This is the I think it's the 8000, I believe. Rigged up with a 100-pound Power Pro braid, 100-pound leader line, giant circle hook, and a 3-ounce weight. We're gonna put a whole and half blue crab on there. We got a bunch. We're gonna trum it up with the frozen ones we got, but then I've got a bunch of live ones too. So we'll be using live and cut blue crabs on the big rod, and then the shrimp, fiddler crabs, sand fleas on my smaller setup. I have to tie it up. I got all the line ready. Don't have my sheephead rigs yet. Sometimes I use bottom sweepers. Sometimes I just use kind of a modified Carolina rig sort of thing. But you'll see, I'll show you everything I'm doing out here. That's part of the interesting thing with doing live. You get to see everything. It might not be as flashy or as exciting as my edited ones where I cut everything, all the boring parts, but you'll see exactly what happens when I'm out here. It should be interesting. And you know, it's a little bit windy, but the waves wouldn't be that bad, but there's so many boats. I would not ever recommend coming out here in a kayak unless you have something really good like this Hobie. Just know your kayak well. I've been in this, fishing in this kayak all the time, and I know well. I've been in big waves, big surf. Handles rough water extraordinarily well. But all that said, we all know what normal kayaks are like. It wouldn't take much to flip out here at all if you're in just a normal kayak. It's gonna take a couple minutes to get to my location up here and try to figure out where I want to fish. Almost any of the pylons you could catch black drum or sheephead, but by the actual port wall and then the main canal either side, you just kind of play the way the tide is. These fish are usually, when the tide's pulling in, they'll be on the inside part of the bridge, getting out of the current, so you want to put your bait in that slack side of the structure. And it looks like it's coming in right now from what I can tell. So we're going to want to be on this side of the ocean, is out to my left, so we're going to be on this side of the bridge. It looks like. I could be wrong. Once I get up there, we'll figure it out. I didn't check my tide chart before I came. I'm going to put this phone somewhere a little safer for this ride because it's just so choppy. The waves are crashing up to where my phone is. Once I get in location, that's not going to be an issue, but it's better I can show you. This is the overpass bridge from Radio Island to Morehead City. See, there's many people fishing right now. people fishing the actual wall. I don't see anybody in the spot I want to fish right now, I don't think, which is a really good thing. But yeah, you can see how rough it is out here. Just thinking about being out here in a kayak. Why you don't normally see me in this life vest. But when it's like this, yeah, I wear it. Especially here, there's such a fast current. This is a spot, if you're in a kayak, you always got to have a life vest on. You look at these bridge pylons, look at all that structure on them. These are all like oysters and barnacles, and that's what the sheephead eat on. That's what the fish hide in. Imagine it going down into the water. When you get a big fish on, if he pulls you into that and your line hits that stuff, they're like razor blades. And if you ever get your hand on one of them, they will cut you bad. Stuff's super, super sharp. That's something to be aware of. Keeping your line away from him. Watch your hands when you get close to that stuff. And I was wrong, the current is actually going out. I'm getting pulled towards the bridge. So you can see the way their anchor is. I'm getting pulled towards the bridge. Let's see. Big wave here. Oh yeah. Big one. We're gonna go down this side. Yeah, it's rough. It's very, 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 very rough right now. And jeepers, there's a lot of boats here. But nobody's fishing where I'm gonna fish, so that's good news. But the way they have their lines, I'm not gonna be able to go past them there. Let's see. Looks like they got a trout. People might be catching gray trout. The way I see people fishing, it doesn't appear that they're after what I'm after. That's good. Gray trout is the thing. Someone's got something right now. Check this out. So we got a sea bass. Yep. They're plentiful sea bass. You can always count on those to bend the line like all the time. They can be a pain when you're using those fiddler crabs. You can go through a lot of fiddler crabs real quick with those sea bass around. They have to be 13 inches to keep. Like 99.99% of them are between like 4 inches, 12 and 3/4 inches. I think I've only ever caught one that was legal size ever here out of the hundreds I've caught. Yeah, the way people are fishing is different. It's bottom fishing, working off the trout, whatever bites, I guess. Real strategic here, set up away from everybody. Hopefully we can lock up to a giant and actually keep it away from the bridge, because that's the problem with the currents like this. Imagine getting a 60 to 100 pound black drum on that's pulling you like, you can't let them take drag because they'll just take into stuff. I'm basically gonna have to just tighten all the way down, put the kayak in the direction away from the bridge and just start pedaling. Do my best to pull. We'll see who wins that tug of war match. I know a guy that had 10 of them on this year, lost every single one of them. So we're gonna be, that area there likes fish, and then right here, we're gonna set up right here. Hope as that current's going down along the structure and we chum up here, we're gonna pull, the scent's gonna pull whatever's down in this area up towards us. We're just gonna set up shop right here and get ready. Get the phone. A lot calmer here too, thankfully. Yep, we're in a good little spot here. Once I get my baits in the water, I'll be putting the GoPros on. That'll be for the stuff I do my editing work for a future video. Something a little more entertaining, I guess, than me yapping the whole time. Just trying to see how this current's gonna move me around and figure out what I need to do as far as placement. I can time myself off. I just don't want to get bashed up into these pylons because it's like razor blades, these shells, and it's a very expensive kayak. I don't want to mess it all up. Let's see. But that's one of the things about this. Okay, there's some sea urchins. I could grab a couple of them real quick. Let's go ahead and get the net and get a few sea urchins. Well, we can. See, a boat goes by and it gets bouncy, real bouncy. And if you're too close, you'll just get thrown up on there. Let's see. Yeah, there's some right there. I learned my lesson. These things can really cut you bad. Not the sea urchins, but the shells. That's what I'm talking about. These sea urchins right here. You can just carefully pick them off the wall. Now, it's just in the Philippines, less than a month ago, they have different kinds of sea urchins here, tons of them. My gosh, they're so delicious. I don't know about these ones if they have enough in them to eat, but I know one thing, sheephead like them. There we go. Yep. I just use my scissors, cut these these spikes off. So yeah, we got all kinds of bait now. Don't need a lot of those right now. They seem to stay on the hook pretty good, so we'll just let them hang out there for now. And I'm gonna start chumming here. Let me see, where do I want to set up? Seems like there's not a ton of current, so whatever I put down is just gonna go down in this area, and we'll probably just generate a lot of stuff. I'm also gonna take this GoPro and put it down on one of these rods while I'm chumming. That's one of the exciting things you can see when I edit my video here. I'm going to include the underwater footage. I'll probably make some shorts too. Guess what I got this on? I'm going to try for a trout. Why not? Might as well while I got on there. It might be a nice gray trout we can pick up right from the get-go here. It's a nice soft plastic mirror lure I use for my speckled sea trout up in the Neuse River and some of the tributaries there. This has just been one of my go-to lures. Always works well for me. When all else fails, this soft plastic mirror lure is great. I did see that one lady with a gray trout, so. Jig that a little bit. Now we've also gotten some nice sheephead doing this with this exact lure, just vertically jigging it, which was a surprise. But sometimes they will hit. It looks like a shrimp, sort of, I guess. Get one aggressive enough. Yeah, we're pretty much staying in one spot. I'm liking this. I'm gonna start putting the camera down, chumming things up, but we got good light, so hopefully I can get some good footage here. All right, lures off. And we're gonna take that off. Whenever I hear a boat come by, back away, so I don't get smashed up into that. wrong with this camera? My GoPro is acting crazy. I've had this for 2 years. I've never seen it do that. Okay, then we'll just set that aside while it's doing whatever it's doing. I'll get these crabs going. It's the thing when you're doing live, like, you get to see all the crazy stuff that happens. Last time I was fishing for black drum in Newburgh, I was just catching like crazy fish. I got like, was it 13 in like 30 minutes? All my cameras kept messing up. Could not get a camera to work. GoPro, start recording. All right, dropping it down. Imagine if I forgot to tie that on. I still remember a friend of mine ice fishing. He took his lure out, put his little maggot spikes on it, threw it in the ice fishing hole. He forgot to tie on his line. All these years, I still just cannot forget that. It's too funny. Okay, so I'm just gonna leave that hanging out. And it's always really fun to me to get home and put that in the computer and see what it sees, because in the wintertime it's super clear. Right now it's not as clear, but always see interesting things down there. I've seen southern lobsters, snow crabs, all kinds of different kinds of fish. A fishing pole that I lost, still down there, wasn't able to get it back, but yeah, we'll see once I start. I'm curious what we're gonna see now, and then once I start throwing all this bait down there, because we're gonna put a lot of bait down there. So these are all blue crabs right here. From a prior trip, we're just gonna start throwing this stuff all around the boat. Take my scissors, a lot. I mean, there's no doubt that is gonna get a lot of stuff swimming around us quick. Within 10-20 minutes, this place is gonna be like fish everywhere. Sheephead, every kind of junk fishing imaginable, to big black drum. There's got to be some here, but it's gonna make a feeding frenzy for sure. I just want to make sure I'm situated in the right spot. Problem is, every time a big boat goes by, it just moves me around a lot. So take my scissors, start chopping. I get these crabs, by the way, at B&J Seafood. You can buy these like ones that are dying for like really discounted. Like I was just asking, it's like $20 a dozen for the small ones, 30 for the big ones. But for these ones that are dying or have eggs, it's $8 a dozen. Like they still move, but they just were like not looking too hot. Make sure I'm not too far from where I started putting that down. I've moved a lot. Moved off a lot. Look at these. I mean, big waves from these boats. Some of these boats are huge. Okay, get back in there. But I'm just gonna put a constant supply of bait down there. So when I put that first crab down there, I'm gonna be ready, because chances are there's gonna be something down there ready to grab it. Put that camera down there. Try to get it just off the bottom. Sometimes I get really lucky and the angle of it's perfect. I've had it where I can get the lure in front of it or the bait, and you can actually see how the sheephead fish interact with the bait. How those smaller ones. I heard a guy giving a seminar on sheephead recently and saying how sheephead don't steal bait. They just grab it like a bass or a trout. They never pick off the bait. That's not true. I have evidence from my videos. And then yes, the bigger ones, when they're wound up, they will crush it, just grab it and run. But they get in these, before they get fired up, they're unbelievably good at just come up and picking that bait right off the hook. It's insane. You can see that on my one of my sheephead videos, on my long form videos on this YouTube channel. It was wild. Mind you, they were smaller ones, but the smaller ones are definitely good at picking bait off. But yeah, when the big ones get it, they just grab it and run. It's like a big mush or a big giant pull down. You set the hook hard, hold on. Yeah, we're gonna get this place absolutely fired up. Very frozen, very frozen. Seagulls are showing up, eating the parts that aren't sinking to the bottom. I'll watch my rod tip. It's gonna get right into that bridge. See, I'm getting moved around a lot, just thankfully, we're staying in the same general area. That's the most important part. Times I've done this. Moved around everywhere I don't want to right now. How many times have I done this? Something very, very, very not good about doing live. You want to ensure that something not good's going to happen, go live. I just lost a GoPro. I have put a camera down on a rod like that dozens of times. Dozens of times. Never have I lost a camera or got stuck to anything. Yeah, that battery or the camera was starting to have some issues. Anyway, gotta get another camera. Lovely, at least we still have one and then this one. Gosh. Amount of things I have lost fishing from a kayak. Alright, let's see if we can redeem all this and get all the rest of the bait down there and catch something giant here. But we still have video battery to do it. Guy actually have a fish on? Looks like he does. He does have something on. Something halfway decent. It's a stingray. Yeah. Or bottom. No doubt these fish are going to be going wild down there. They're going to be going wild down there. Snagged up. Okay, through the first bag. Yeah, that's right, first bag, 2 bags of these. This is boring, I know. It's worth it. We're gonna get to the real action here soon. Once I put a bait down there, it's gonna be, should be like ridiculous. There's little bait fishermen all over. They're already wound up over the stuff. Fish, holy smokes, that's cool. There's tons of these little fish following my kayak right now, feeding on the little bits of crab. Look at this. I bet you underneath, towards the bottom where all this stuff's sinking, it's the same way. It can be the sheep head and all kinds of stuff going. Maybe that guy does have a fish on. He's acting like, yeah, I think he's got to have a stingray. This guy's just like, got a huge rod and he's just pulling. He's got a big stingray. They're always fun. Yeah. It's not a snag. Don't look like he's anywhere near done with the fight. I'll try to show you. really, just kind of going around circles all around this area. Nice thing is this is the area you want to fish. It's right in here. We're just kind of chumming up the whole area real good. Some of this stuff isn't sinking real good with it being frozen. Okay. So with the frozen crab, now we can actually get a fresh one on. I'm gonna cut up a fresh one. Cut up one fresh one and then put one on. I'm gonna just cut the corner of it, put it down pretty much whole. All I'm gonna do is take the claws off it. And the legs probably. But I'm pretty confident we've got a feeding frenzy going on down there already. Either way, there's gonna be fish fired up and ready to inhale whatever goes down there. So this ought to be very interesting. Get that trash back in there. Get some crabs. Without getting pinched. Okay. Yeah, they're a little bit lively now. See, that's what I'm talking about. These things still move and can pinch you, but they can barely move. That's why they're so cheap. But you can see they'll move a little bit. I'm gonna cut this one up. And I'm gonna get one on for bait as soon as I'm done with this one. Just get right over the middle here. Sinking right to the bottom. That's perfect. That's going to be the spot. This one's pretty lively still. All I'm gonna do, get back over here a little bit. Don't like my location right now. I'm gonna use this one. It's not a giant one. Last year I used like that first one. It was just a huge crab. Put it down and we had a monster eat it. Unfortunately, it broke me off real quick and easy. I had the rod and the rod holder behind me, and you could see in the camera, I felt like the current was moving me, but the fish was pulling the rod and I didn't hear it until it broke me off. But the rod, it was a learning lesson that you just gotta have big equipment. I do with my scissors. Don't know what I did with my scissors now. Awesome. Okay, put those up there. Set that right there. Hopefully I didn't just drop my scissors over the side, because that could have totally happened. breaking off that one horn on one side to get the juices out. And we're taking this rod. Get the GoPro going for this. This could happen potentially very quickly, we'll see. GoPro, start recording. Okay, GoPro's up. I'll show you how I hook these things. I'm gonna go right through the leg hole. And up to the shell. Just like that. I'm gonna go right over that location, drop it down. I'm gonna hold on because this could be insane. I just gotta get my game plan together here. If I get that fish on, look, he's using huge fish. He might have had a shark or a big stingray. The thing was acting like a stingray. He lost whatever he had. I just saw him casting out a fish like that big for bait. So, game plan is if I get one on, I'm heading out to open water with everything I got, just holding on to this rod, hoping I can get him away from this, because if he goes into any of that, we're history. All right, here we go. Straight down. Test my drag, not tight enough at all. It's got to be almost tightened down all the way. There's not much room for play in this situation. I just got to get that fish up off the bottom and horse him away from this structure as fast as absolutely possible. I would, or am tempted to get my sheephead rod and just, get a small piece of crab and put it down there, because that probably would be getting nailed right away. But last thing I want to do is mess around like that, and then all of a sudden I get a 60 to 100 pound black drum biting this one, and I'm not fully ready. I need to be able to get it on and just go. So we'll wait a little bit. If we don't get anything after 10-15 minutes, I'll put it in the rod holder, and we'll put another rod down for sheephead. Every time those boats go by, so much movement here. It's almost best like the boats tie off one of the pylons there and pylons here and just stay positioned in one place. Let's see what's saying here. GW, that's right. The trout are in New Bern right now for sure. I'll probably be there tomorrow morning and a couple times during the weekdays after work kind of thing. Yeah, the trout are stacked there right now. Creek mouths around the bridges. It's hot right now. It was tough because I know I've got fish there. Great fishing for the trout right now, but I really want to get one of these big giant black drum and sheephead, one of my favorite fish, for fishing and eating. This is just a unique environment. It's nothing like fishing the backs of creeks or the pretty, New Bern is just beautiful, but this is a different kind of fishing. This is going to be like war if we get what we're after here. Last time my big one was on the other side of this, but we'll give it time. We'll give it time. really hard to stay situated here. At least I'm not being moved too bad. I mean, really, we're just kind of circling around this one spot. Really need a bait clicker. That would have been the deal right now. I could set it in the rod holder, put the bait clicker on. Put my GoPro, my sheephead rod down there. I haven't even tied that on yet. Let's see. Here we go again. Just tie up here real quick. I think I'm gonna try to attach myself here. This is a convenient spot if I can do it. Yeah, let's see if we can get myself situated to stay right here. I'm gonna get this one tied up with a sheephead rig, and we're just gonna keep our eye on this other pole very, 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 very closely, carefully. Can be very inconvenient in these kayaks, so tiny. To fix things, let's see. All right. Drives me absolutely nuts. Okay. All right, I fixed that problem. Current so little, it's gonna use a 1/2 ounce barrel sinker. Get it down there. I'm gonna use a very small hook this time, smaller than normal. All right, let's see here. Just gotta retie this. Just a waiting game now. With that big crab down there. At least I got myself situated in one spot without being moved all the time. That is going to help. going wild. I really do think I lost my scissors over the side. Now that pair was broken. I have another new pair at the house. They're so handy. I just love having scissors like that. For cutting the crabs or whatever. Very, very handy. Hooks I like using for sheephead right here. They're strong. They're small, but very strong. And light. Mom be able to pick it up and swim off with it pretty easy. So the lighter you can get away with stuff, the better. Match it up with a Palomar knot. There we go. A bunch of birds there now. Super sharp hook. Trying to tie the knot, think it's getting my finger. Sometimes I'll put a double line beneath the sinker with 2 hooks. This time just one single hook. One is enough. Just like to really tighten them down, snug it, that knot up really good, so don't have anything slip on us when we get a fish on. Okay, I'm actually gonna try using some fresh shrimp this time. I got a lot of it, so we'll use that first. Alright, heads, just taking the heads off. I'm going to start chumming everything with these shrimp heads. Again, the more chum you can get down there, get these fish fired up and eating, the better. Probably not going to take very long with the shrimp to get bit by what? We'll see. So the problem with the shrimp is everything eats them. Let's see how long it takes to get nailed with that. I'll bet something grabs that right away. Hopefully it'll be a nice sheephead. Sink to the bottom. So I like to get it to the bottom and just let it sit straight on the bottom to start with. I'll let it sit there for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. And if I'm not getting anything, I'm gonna reel it up a little bit and just start moving it up and down, vertical. Sometimes some sheephead will chase that thing. I've had them in 20 foot of water, bite it just 2 feet under my kayak, doing that before. It's a weird technique that they'll follow it and get really hyped up by it. You're gonna literally watch them in clear water, coming up to it, going back down, coming up to it, and they won't commit. And as soon as you start to drop it back down to them, they'll just grab it really aggressively. That's the thing with these guys. Like, there could be a ton of them down there, but they don't want to eat. They just look at it. But when you get them wound up and feeding, they go crazy. It just takes some time and some tricks to get them wound up sometimes. If we don't get anything here, another 10, 15 minutes, I'm gonna move over there and then on the other side of this. We should have fish here. After all of that chum we put down, there's gotta be stuff over here by now. Got to be. I don't seem to be getting picked on by anything. No junk fish, not a single peck yet, which is very surprising. Usually you drop a piece of shrimp down. Oh, there's one. Feels like a junk fish though. Yep, something tiny. Definitely not a toadfish. It's definitely not a sheephead. Of course, it's a sea bass and it's tangled up big time in my bluefish or my other big rod. This is what I was talking about. There are way too many of these things here. These things will drive you nuts. Little sea bass. Catch hundreds of those things. And they just can be a real nuisance. Good if you're taking kids fishing because they'll give you and the kids constant action, which is great. But when you're out here serious, trying to catch a giant, a big sheephead can be a real nuisance. Putting that blue crab out a little bit further to the rod holder. Drop that down. Let's put a new piece of shrimp on. And hopefully we can get down there without a black sea bass taking the bait right away. I'm only going to stay live here for probably another 10 minutes. My battery is getting a bit low. I'm going to have to get like a plug-in battery extension for doing this in the future so I can do this longer. But the main thing is chumming up the water with the blue crab. It's definitely going to attract stuff eventually. And having a nice fresh piece of either half or whole blue crab on the bottom with big circle hook and heavy setup with big line on there, because you're going to be in tug of war. Other one is, this is just a 2,500 reel with 20-pound Power Pro for the sheephead, 6'6" medium heavy rod, and it got 60-pound leader, monofilament leader for the abrasion resistant the stuff on the bottom. I usually use the fiddler crabs, which I have. We're going to do that later. Using shrimp to start off with. We've got sand fleas, we got sea urchins. Using a variety of different baits to see what these sheephead are gonna want to eat. Hopefully we can get into them. I usually with sheephead like to jump around until I find active fish, but sometimes just being in one spot, chumming it up and being patient is the other way to go. And it's really all there is to it. Just lots of good spots for sheephead here in Moorhead, all around these bridges. Give it a 20, 30 minutes in the spot, you don't get anything, move to a new location and just keep doing that. Chum each spot. Most of the time I don't chum and it works just fine, but if you have the ability to chum things up and get the fish more active, well, that's just a big bonus. And I'm just surprised that we're not getting more action after all the chum we put down there. We'll see. If I have to go off from being on live and I end up hooking up to a monster, I'll put it back on live just for that. Here we go. Feels like a sea bass, something small. As soon as I lifted it up off the bottom, let's put down another piece of shrimp. Shrimp is one thing you can get in the wintertime. This is usually what I use in the winter to catch sheephead. Works great. Sand fleas are my favorite. If I had my scissors, which I lost, I've used the blue crab cut up would be awesome for big sheephead too. Okay, we're on the bottom already. And I've got all these little bait fish swimming around me like crazy. If any bluefish show up, little bites. Start lifting it up off the bottom, getting bits, bites, bits. Try that tactic I told you about, just kind of reeling it up off the bottom, suspending it, bring it up, pulling it back down. So bring the rod up, going back down. I don't know what it is about this, but as I said, in clear water, when I was able to see those sheephead, follow it up, they go back down, they follow it up, go back down. Then when that thing would drop back down, they just nail it. Seems to drive them nuts. And sometimes there's certain sheephead that are suspended I've seen in my videos. Like a lot are near the bottom, but there's quite a few that'll hang up midway or even right up just 2-3 feet from the surface. So it's a good way to kind of find where they're at in the water column and maybe even get them a little more aggressive. Also gets away from the sea bass because they usually are right on the bottom. Let's see here. There's so many bait fish around me. Check this out. It's like if any bluefish show up or sea trout, it'd be all over. Look at all the bait fish here. These are glass minnows, tons of them. They were swimming right next to the boat. Now they're out there a ways. Pretty cool. Okay, drop it straight back down at the bottom again. Might not even have any bait left on here. So I did get a few bites. Yeah, I'll bet. Oh, no. I'm on the bottom getting pecked at by something tiny. But then you gotta be careful. Last time I was going for black drum in Newbern, the bites were just like this, just super tiny. I didn't think it was much. And they were all, ended up being 14 to 20 inch black drum, and the bites were very, very subtle in the beginning, and then you just feel that mush. But with sheephead in general, I think they can pick at it like I've seen in my videos, but when they get committed, they really will take it. I am clean now for sure. What's going on with this? It's tangling on itself all the time. Yeah, things aren't too hot here. I'll definitely be going for trout tomorrow in Newbern. Fishing is hot right now there for that. We'll see, it's still early. This fishing too can surprise you. You can go from like just dead, absolutely nothing. And just the last hour before dark, it can be fish after fish after fish after fish after fish. Black drum, sheephead, big ones too. So we'll see. It's still early. Still very early. If we catch one absolute giant, it'll be worth it. Check that instantly. Definitely a very small fish, whatever it is. GoPro, stop recording. Save that. GoPro, start recording. A little better. Might be small sheephead, I don't know. A lot of head shakes. Not very big, but. Oh, big pinfish. What the heck? That's a big pinfish. Check that out. It's a really big pinfish. Things have such cool colors. Oh. He had a whisker from one of those shrimp heads coming out of his mouth. Probably like an army of those things down there. That was a big, big pinfish. They're usually half that size. And if I'm after red drum, that right there is killer bait. Cut that up, put that on the bottom, or use a hole. Catch an awesome big old sheephead or red drum with those. GoPro, stop recording. There we go. It was still going. Oh yeah, I forget with 2 cameras going what's going on. I had that on for the pinfish, so I didn't know what I had there. Yeah. That's probably the shrimp, everything. That's a better one. That's oh, okay, it's out. Now it's just snagged up. It's not that big. I could feel head shakes with weight, but it was just caught to something. It's not big. It's probably another pinfish or something. Or, should have known. Black sea bass, of course. These things. If we get past these, thing inhaled it. Got those bait fish all over again. Goodness. All right. Down another big hunk of shrimp. Just got to weed through some of these junk fish, and hopefully we'll get something a little bigger. I mean, just the fact that there are all those ones down there, it's gonna get stuff wound up. Hopefully it'll draw the attention of the sheephead. See what happens here. Bit right away. Small bites. Small. It's got those minnows or whatever, the glass minnows everywhere. We gotta see this again. Check this out. They're just chilling by this yak. It'd be awesome to see a trout or a bluefish flying through them. Probably got cleaned again. Yep, nothing but a shell. It's crazy. Cleaned it totally out. Probably the pinfish army. Let's see how long this takes this time. Okay, I'm gonna give us another 10 minutes and I'm gonna move to a new location. We got a lot of spots I would like to try. This is a great spot. Down below me is a great spot. I gotta fix this because it keeps falling over on me. Got another great spot in front of me. A lot of times when I jump around, if the sheephead are there, sometimes they'll eat it right away. As soon as you put it down, you get a hit. Bam, you're on. So again, there's two ways to look at it. Either you stay in one spot and just keep fishing and wait it out, or you just move. I'm kind of thinking somewhere in between the two. I got cleaned off already. Instant bites by something tiny. Yeah, it's a machine gun bite. Machine gun bite. Definitely pinfish. Yeah, I'm not gonna stick around for this much longer. I mean, that's one thing about using the sea urchin. I can put one of those on. Now how I'm gonna do that without a pair of scissors? I definitely must have dropped it. It's the thing with having a camera rolling and trying to do all these multitasking. It's easy to lose track of what's going on here. Yeah. Yeah, they're nowhere to be found. Use my knife to try to cut them off a little bit, I guess. Sea urchin, it'll last a while. But the shrimp, they do not last. Nice thing is the winter when I use shrimp, most of the junk fish are gone. Right now, it's like every little junk fish that eats shrimp is down there. I'm just getting pecked alive right now by these pinfish, and the sea bass will just eat it, but the pinfish will peck it to death. I had multiple banner days here last November. Come out here and catch 9, 10 black drum between 16 to 23, 24 inches, and I'd get about the same amount of sheephead in the like 15, 16 inch range. It could just be real hit or miss. Right now it's super slow. This is like painful. But again, we're gonna move around, we're gonna find them. We're gonna find them. Yeah. Let's go ahead and make a move here. Or at least try one fiddler crab. One fiddler crab. Let's see how that goes, and then we'll get out of here. Yeah, a good one with a big claw here. I'll show you how I hook these things up. So you get that big claw, and right where the legs are, putting it in with the legs. Ooh. Shell broke off. Figures. I love having that shell on there, and then that pincher on there, right up to the top, like that. But usually I like having that claw on this side. I think having that claw move in, it flash in, it just makes it that much more attractive to the sheephead. All right, let's drop this fiddler down. My guess is it'd be a black sea bass, but we'll see. see. So imagine if you can, I had a rod like this last year when I was sheephead fishing. I was just focused on this rod. This rod here is a different rod than this, but it's in this location, just bent right over. Big old giant black drum. I mean, I had a full-size giant blue crab on there for bait. That rod was just bent right over. Drag was this. All of a sudden, just broke off. Man, you never know. You just never know. I mean, there is absolutely gigantic black drum in here. I think some of them are here year-round, but this month is the best for sure. Most concentrated. Right next to the structure of this fiddler crab. I'm gonna move around a little bit. I got some other areas that have been good to me I want to try. This is just one of many locations that can be very good. Wind there. It's funny, as soon as I moved away from that thing, I'm getting blown down here fast. And that's not good for this rod at all. I need to move that to the other side. That's not current, that's just wind. Crazy wind. Yeah, challenge is the sheephead fishing. Seriously, it's just getting blown into this so bad right now. Yeah. There we go. All right, my friends, I'm going to call it for now for the live, but I hope this wasn't too boring for you. This is just real life how it is. Sometimes it's super slow, or it starts off really slow. I'm confident I'm going to end up with some good fish here before the end of the day. Still going to make some content with this camera, and if I get anything huge, I'm going to go ahead and put it on live. We'll keep trying this. Is still new, something I'm trying here. I'll try to do something live every time I go fishing from now on. But anyway, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and God bless, and we'll see you on the next one. And yeah, I think I'm going to try going live tomorrow. If I go out tomorrow morning from New Bern for the trout, I'll go live. That should be a lot more exciting for sure, but we'll see.